Hello and welcome back to the next installment of Mega Man X single player mode Lithium Project. And in this particular episode we are going to go and take on all that is chilled of a penguin. I don't really think that one through. Chill penguin. And the main differences between the original series of Mega Man and Mega Man X is that you've got all the man type of bots, Bob Man, Gold Man, Ass Man, and in the X series they're all Mavericks, and they sort of take on the forms of different animals. You get some really weird combinations in later installments. Excuse me. But they're all relatively, for them. Excuse me. For the most part, they all take on relatively normal animals and gimmicks. Maybe one or two exceptions. So this is the first level that I would advise, and I think most people advise to start with Mega Man X, because you can do them in any order. And one of the cool features about Mega Man X is the difficulty level of the game isn't set as a predetermined condition that you either do the easy mode or the hard mode. It really comes down to how you play the game and what order you do the levels in. And there's two sort of set levels that you can look up, and one of them is the convenience and one of them is the difficulty. And the convenience comes in the game there are a bunch of heart containers and weapon upgrades, or armor upgrades, or just different sort of upgrades. And some of the levels you have to go back to them to be able to get them, and this capsule here is the first upgrade of the game, and it's the easiest one to get to because you just walk up to it, it's there in the level. So this is Dr. Light, and I ain't going to do an impression of him because it'll involve a speech impediment, and if you haven't seen Mega Man 8 or played Mega Man 8 you won't understand why. But it's some very hideous voice acting in that game, even worse than mine. And Dr. Light, essentially, because I thought the world might need a new champion, blah blah blah. Like, sort of explaining his actions here for why X exists, and he talks about the capsules that are hidden throughout the land of X land, whatever the hell this place is called. And the first upgrade of the game, and a useful upgrade, is the ability to dash, and this gives you a sort of extra spring in your step when jumping to anywhere really. And there's a couple of places where it's quite handy to be able to traverse to different levels or parts of the level. So we get some nice shiny new shin pads, and that is essentially what the dash is. So it's a pretty useful weapon and can get you out of some tight spots. But also, if you're not paying attention and don't understand the rules of how Capcom make games, and that's to fuck you over at every potential possibility, you got to be firing most of the time when doing the dash, because you will run into something and you will fall into a bottomless pit. So on to the second part of the level. These little things, or big things, they give you sort of an extra punch, if you will, and they're also pretty annoying to maneuver, and it might just be the Xbox controller that I had trouble with when doing this. But once you finally figure it out, which I think took me long enough. Yeah, I really suck at the... No, come on, you can do it. There we go. Once you get up here, I think it's this one, the little base there is a heart container inside it, so you have to come back to it, and we'll be doing that much later on actually. So on the final stretch you've got these snowballs. They're pretty easy to avoid, you just got to jump over them. And here we are, at the first boss of the game. Now Chill Penguin is pretty easy, to be honest. He's even more pathetic when you take him on with his weapon that he's weak against. I think I tried to do most of these with just the Mega Man's standard Buster, but I think there's a few later on that I have a bit of trouble with. Chill Penguin has a couple of attacks. He fires out these ice rocks in different formations. He'll headbutt the wall like that, which is the best time to get in some shots once he's stopped, like so. He also has this, where he'll make some nice little penguin statues, and they're pretty easy to avoid. And eventually he'll headbutt them, and you can carry on again. If you actually have the place to stand there, just keep firing away, and eventually you'll break them, and you can keep shooting. For a fat, pudgy little fucker like he is, he's pretty nimble, he can jump across the screen. You don't actually see it because I think I kill him before he gets a chance. But there's a hook in the middle of the room at the top, and he'll hook onto that, and he'll set the weather, and if there's penguins on the screen, the frozen ones, they'll slide across the room depending on what way the rain's going. But I think I kill him before he has a chance to do that. So a couple more shots left to do. Oh, here we go. See? Oh no, killed him. So, another reason why to start with Chill Penguin is he's really ridiculously easy to take on. And with this we get our first power-up weapon of the game. And with this we get the Shotgun Ice, which just blasts out a standard block of ice really. But it also has a nice effect if it hits off a wall or anything. It will split into 3 separate shots, and so it makes it pretty hard to actually not hit anything with it. But that's that. That is the first level of Mega Man X. And I will see you next time. Until then.